Hey there, Buggy. How you doing? It's been a while since I've been up here, and you're still one of the first ones popping in at Nowlin. Man, it's like nothing ever changes, even though it's been like a month or two. So, all right. Well, really don't have a whole lot going today, but uh, Jinx was out here in Phoenix for the past couple weeks, and well, thank you, lazy. No, so we're supposed to go to Furry Weekend LA past about 2 weeks ago. And at the last minute when she got here, she ended up getting into, what was it, San Diego, and all of a sudden we discovered that, hey, the thing was canceled. So unfortunately, we didn't get to go do that, but instead of going to the furry con for, you know, she got there about 3 or 4 days prior to the con, so we just ended up hanging around San Diego and then worked our way back up to LA like we had originally planned. And yeah, so as we were up there, we started talking, and one of her good friends over in Georgia there, she really kind of got Jinx into the furry stuff. So, oh, you're in Charlotte with your cousins, huh? Charlotte's a pretty cool town. But the person that kind of got Jinx going into furry stuff, she doesn't have a suit, so we're working on trying to figure out one for her. But figured I would kind of show what we started with, and it started to kind of fall apart here. So, uh, but Jinx had come up with this project here. Let me see if I can bring it up to the top here. Oop, right over top. All right. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the con was canceled. It was actually pretty good looking for more or less what we were looking for, but you just got done with 4th of July fireworks. Yeah, it's still a little bright here. I think we got another 30 minutes before fireworks can start popping up, so I may end up stopping the live here at some point. But so Jinx kind of built this sketch more or less of what she wanted for her friend. I think they came up with it together and thought it was really, really cute. And we had a head base that kind of worked with it. And I'm like, hey, I really like how that turned out. Jinx did a really good job sketching that. Well, trying to make this thing into a mask, I'm gonna show you guys kind of the failures that I had along the way with it. So, let's see. We'll see if we can squeeze this guy up into the corner here, just so we have reference of what it's supposed to look like. All right, and let's see. So we started off looking pretty decent overall. I won't say it looked great, but let's see. We'll bring it out here. Sorry, I'm talking like things are happening, but it's not for you guys. All right, so we got some ears going, taped them up. They weren't really the greatest. They looked pretty large, kind of given the scale and dimension that we're looking at here, but let's see. More taping. I'll bring that up. We'll get rid of this guy. Transition it in. Oops. We'll update where it's at. All right. So I was going for kind of the cat ears there. It's not huge or great, but yeah, it does have a huge forehead. The plan is, as you can kind of see in the sketch there, have some long hair that kind of rolls down and hangs over the forehead and everything. It's a more or less kind of like a kimono, I think it is, style mask. And we're like, okay, we'll try this out. Never really worked with these before. I kept going back and forth between, hey, do I want to use Minky and just line it with Minky? I decided that Minky was probably not going to be the easiest to work with, so I ended up swapping over to normal fur and trying that out. And let's see, bring this up again. Sorry, I'm not a great storyteller, but transition. Okay, so this is the yeah, it's starting to show how horrible this thing's going. uh but this is kind of like the first sketch of kind of the ears and getting everything going, and I'm like, okay, I think once we start shaving the ears down a little bit, we decided to go kind of wrapping the ears with a little bit of orange, showing a little bit of the yellow coming through, and adding a little tuft of fur at the top. And I think once we shave the ears down, it won't look quite as bad. They're just laying on there, so right now they're kind of rough looking. But let's see. I don't know if you have ever heard of it, but do you know what the Amazing Digital Circus is? Yes, I do. So, all right. So Melania kind of rolled into this. It's kind of getting a little bit scary. Oh, sorry. The name of the cat here is Melania. Uh, but yeah, so moving on, we'll bring up the hair next. And where do we have going here? All right. So the fur or the hair is just kind of a piece that we're just kind of laying the layers of fur on top of each other. So really nothing too special with it. I've got a couple scraps here that I'm gonna start working on, uh, but yeah, as I'm seeing everything kind of rolling together, it's just not flowing the way we wanted. But let's see what we have in here. Alan says, I'm starting to worry about Arizona FurCon. They have it every October. It's already July and they don't even have a venue yet. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the post recently, but what I saw is they're pretty much saying we're done. We can't get it to work. I think one of the people that more or less was going to lead it and head it up, he said that he stepped down from being the con chair, and then after that, it just kind of fell apart, and I think they're done with it. So, but Jinx is here with me now. She's the one that did the awesome sketch up in the left corner, but she kind of rolled into the living room here where we're working on this. But yep, so overall, you can see the hair, it's just kind of doing its thing. And I'll bring up the very last picture, I think. Let's see. Bring this up. Nope, it's not the last picture, but I need to bring in one of the pictures here that she just sent me because I sent it to her in Snapchat and I didn't take a picture that's saved to my phone. So let me grab that real quick and I will let you guys see more or less what the monstrosity turned out to as I started uh, gluing everything together. There we go. All right. Give me just a couple minutes here. Where is that ugly thing? There it is.
She looks like a rip-off Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she's a little special right now. Sorry, I thought I transferred all the pictures over a little bit ago, but I missed this one. All right. And for the very last picture of kind of where she was before I started messing around with it, let me scale it down so we can actually see her. Wow, this thing's horrible. All right, we'll transition into seeing what the thing looked like. So, uh, yeah, yeah, it it did not turn out well. If you can, hopefully, you guys can see how this thing looks here. But wow, um, so I'm trying to figure out what the best option is for fixing this guy. So I ended up saying, "Hey, this is not going to work. I can't do this." So what do we have? I'll get rid of all of these guys and we'll go to the live video. Maybe. Melania, is that you? Okay. Transition back to me. All right, so You can kind of see Jinx in the background there. Hopefully you're okay with that. But all right. So here we are. This is the current state of Melania. She's been torn apart. All the fur was ripped off her face, off her head. And I'm trying to get the brightness up here. Whoops, that's going opposite. And all right. So yeah, I'd never airbrushed before, and so I've decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to airbrush out, just see if maybe doing the 3D print on the head here will kind of work, and if maybe I could just airbrush the face and like start layering fur right up over top here. So, and we would start working on trying to get the hair sorted and figured out here. But all in all, I think that's what we're gonna do. So I attempted doing some new 3D prints of the face. That way I don't have to mess with this thing. But I figured while I was at it, might as well just attempt a few sprays and see how the airbrushing goes. But so this is kind of the current state. I've got the fur, the hair, everything kind of going together. But right now it's just two separate pieces, just layered. I think I'm gonna try sewing them together and seeing if I can kind of get the hair figured out as the new prints are coming together. So, but I did want to just kind of share kind of how horrible this thing started off. It's one of the plastics that I kept saying, hey, I don't want to ever mess with this stuff again because PETG for mask, it just scares me. It's so solid and everything, but I think this sort of mask just kind of lends itself to needing a hard plastic. But unfortunately, everything here, I had it lined. I'm not gonna say it was nicely lined, but it was lined. Uh, got the ears and everything on it, so it was about ready to be done before I just screwed the thing up to no other. But
Why does Bob have battle scars?
Bob had neck surgery. Bob, Bob's the bad guy.
Oh,
You can see how bad he is. His head is tiny, actually. Yeah, it's about the size of your head. All right, so that's the current project, but the one that I've been working on for the last few weeks, and I say working on, that's kind of a stretch at this point,
no, you're not.
to somebody's unhappy nature. Let's see if I can tilt the camera up here. All right, camera wants to roll. All right, sorry guys. All right, so this is let's see, a raccoon that I've been working on trying to figure out. So I think we talked about, actually, I think I posted it on Instagram was about it. But I've got Licorice, the raccoon. So Licorice is a clown. It's supposed to have a squeaky nose, but I popped a couple needles through it, and ever since then, it doesn't squeak anymore. But we have two different faces on this guy that I was working on. So first one was kind of over on this side here. So kind of going with the traditional bandit raccoon stuff going. Um, and then this one, you can see it's got some red lips. Both of them should have that, but it's supposed to be a clown, and we're trying to get a clown yellow and green hat. Do you have a picture of anything or no?
Oh, we made those paper drawings.
Yeah, I've got some paper drawings and some pictures of that as well here. Uh, but we won't mess with that right now. But overall, this is one that Jinx had come up with that she wanted done when we were at FWA. So yeah, that was probably about the highlight of our time over at FWA. I'll say it's a great con. If I were probably 20 years younger, uh, being in my 40s and the party scene and everything like that, we're looking at, young 20s, maybe early 30s, somewhere in there is kind of like the target good audience, I would say. But having a minor and an old person like a dinosaur here, it just it wasn't our favorite con. It was a lot of fun for me being able to attend. I had a great time, but in general, like the lines were long, the party scene was more prevalent really than most everything else. Uh, so I think it was on a Saturday or Sunday we ended up going to the kid area, and they had like some sketch your own make your own persona sheet. So we ended up making this little guy, or Jinx did. And so I came home and started working on it, but time got away from me as I started working on my new job and getting everything situated there. But we're still working on this guy, and she told me just a little bit ago, hey, let's start looking at maybe doing some different colors. So this is kind of where we're at with this guy. So that might be what she's working on now, is a new plan. Went to Sonic, grabbed myself a slushie, tried the dragon fruit. That's pretty good. Never tried that one before. But let's see. Have you guys been to any cons lately or anything? I know you were saying the AZFC is the one that we're looking at coming up. I think for us, we're looking at going to one in North Carolina here. It's gonna be the Fontana Dam Village Resort, I think it is. It's gonna be a small con. I think we're looking at probably about 400 to 500 people. It's in the middle of the woods, more or less, and it's like a little wooded resort. So we'll see what that one's all about. We're gonna try to take Jinx's friend that got her into the furry stuff with us, and so this will be her first con and Jinx's third, because we did PDFC and then FWA, and then we were attempting to do the Furry Weekend LA, but we ended up doing all sorts of other fun stuff, like what we do, the boardwalk, Belmont Park, which was a fun little place in San Diego. I rolled into hanging out on the beach and roller skating down the boardwalk. And let's see, did SeaWorld, rode as many roller coasters as we really could. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, Anthrocon. That was one that we considered going to, but I think after FWLA, or not FWLA, FWA, we're like, yeah, these big cons are probably just too much for kind of what we like. Like, I'm not a people person. I hate getting into busy, congested areas. So that was kind of a tough one. So yeah, you've been watching Anthrocon live streams and highlights since it's this weekend and it looks fun. No, I think in general, I think it would be fun, but I think I would have to be with the right group of people. So probably my daughter and her boyfriend, and that group would be a decent one, being in their about their 20s. It kind of would work out pretty well, but probably not a good one for Jinx and I. Let's see. Lazy or Buggy, she went to a Comic Con a little while back, and you were a shark with a shark plushie. So I buy a tiny Groggy and Groggy, and named him Felicia. Friggy. Okay, Friggy. There we go. I considered Anthrocon, but I was late and everything was super expensive. Yeah, so when I was looking probably 4 or 5 months ago, Anthrocon, I couldn't buy or reserve a room or look at any of what the rooms were available until I bought a ticket, and I didn't want to buy a ticket until I had a room reserved. So it was kind of a back and forth thing that I was trying to figure out. Is it worth it? Plus, we would have to fly up there, and it's a over the 4 day weekend. I figured it was just gonna be kind of a mess trying to figure out both of those. But um, so yeah, we ended up just kind of staying around here in Phoenix and spending time going in the pool, just hopping around, doing all sorts of little things around town. So that's kind of what we've been up to this, I don't know, the past couple weeks. Jinx will head home here in about 3 or 4 days, so don't have a whole lot of time to work on the projects. The plan was to work on Melania. I think that's how we pronounce it. uh, and get it done. What we did get done, which we started off first with, were a set of paws. So worked on the paws here. There we go. Just a nice, more or less blue and white with a set of real light pink beans here. So we worked on these. Jinx put one together and then I put the other one together. And they turned out pretty good. I'm actually really happy with how they fit. The fingers don't twist and turn too bad. I think this one's got a slight twist, but it's not bad at all. Uh, we pluffed out or plushed out the fingers, and then the claws actually all sit fairly decent. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So this is the one that Jinx had done. I can tell from her stitching versus my stitching, it's
I don't like you.
well, no, they're I'm not saying anything bad about your stitching. I'm just saying I can tell the difference between the two of us. So, and then there's mine. So the two of us have really, once it comes together and they're sitting as a pair, really can't tell much of a difference. Uh, except that mine's kind of jacked up here because I haven't brushed that out. Huh. But no, she did a great job. It's her first time sewing ever, and I think the paws were the first ones that she had done.
Yep.
So I was proud of how she was able to put that together.
Do you have the papers for Licorice?
Yeah, I'll go grab them in just a sec. And then the second project that we worked on, which was 2 or 3 days later, is making a tail for the kitty, for Melania. So here's the tail that we started off with. Let's see if we can zoom out. Oops, that's in. So the tail, and it's probably a good, I don't know, 30 inches long or so. So on a kiddo, this thing should just about drag. I think it'll hang about 3 or 4 inches off the ground. But so this was the tail that we put together. Uh, Once again, Jinx did a large chunk of it, and this time she used the sewing machine for the first time, and so that was pretty fun. Uh, but yeah, so that's where we're up to. I still have the ears from the first Melania, so we may try shaping these down a little bit more and see if they work, or I may just scrap them and start the whole project over on that one. But all right, let me see what's going on over here in chat. All right, so chat says the rooms were like $400 a night. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty fun. That would not be fun. I couldn't or could have tried finding other people to book a room with, but yeah, I just didn't want to do that with strangers. Yeah, definitely. Wow, nice pause. Thank you. And Criddle Ray. So you thank you so much for joining in and yeah, thank you. The pause I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So but I will put us back to looking at this monstrosity here while I go and get the depictions that Jinx threw up over at FWA. But if you want to talk about anything, you may talk to the group. Surprise.
Oh.
You can talk to them all about the project that you have with Licorice or where Licorice came from. Do you
Okay.
like
Okay.
clowns?
I don't know.
So, all right. So Jinx is here. She can talk to you guys about. Oh, I'm talking and the microphone's over here. All right, so I'm swapping out. You guys will like Jinx more than me, anyways. She's a lot more fun. At least she tells me she is.
Um.
Just talk. When you realize that you're not talking to your camera, it's just more fun.
Okay. Um. Right now, I am like trying to come up with new colors, but I'm kind of stumped. I don't. Yeah. it's just like something really quick just to like figure out the colors. And for Raccoon, they have like the stuff around the eyes, and I want to mainly use like um blue, red, neon green, and like bright yellow. But I don't know what to use for like the second color. So yeah, you're back.
I'm back.
Oh god, this kind of sucks.
That one was pretty decent.
No,
You're like, nope, nope, this sucks.
yeah, kind of
That's fun.
sucks. Oh my goodness gracious, I forgot the eyebrows. Yep. Uh, this was the first one. I think I was high when I made it. I don't like it that much. I don't know if you can see that. All right, you can have your seat back.
Oh no, you're fine. No, you're no. Okay. Okay, so she's not much one for conversation to begin with. Which one's that?
Are these two cows?
Oh, fireworks. Hey, there's fireworks going outside. I have no idea where this came from. Literally, where'd it come from? It was it just sitting there?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know where this came from. Um, yeah.
Where did the paper disappear to? Okay.
Let's see. Can't tell if it's nope. That's stuff. Focus. There we go. Yep. So it's like a couple Boston booty together. I don't know. That's cool. Okay, so I figure while we're at it, talking about FWA, want let's see. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a good time with putting this guy together. So FWA, they gave out little maps of like where all the buses and all that type of stuff were going. Man, it is so dark. Let's brighten it up again. All right, so there was a little shuttle bus map, you know, simple things, and it was nice having physical copies that showed. And once again, you can't see much going on here, but it broke out all the different floors of the different hotels. So this was the Marriott Marquis, the Hilton, and then the Hyatt, and then it told you kind of where restaurants and stuff were. So uh, from that standpoint, I'll say FWA is great because there was the Peachtree Center downtown. There was all sorts of food options, Firehouse subs. We had Chick-fil-A, I think 2 or 3 nights in a row, but then we went down on Sunday and we're like, oh no, they're not open on Sunday. But everybody that went to FWA was able to get like a poster here, so I keep trying to adjust my
I did
frame
not
rate.
get a poster.
Well, you got one, but you didn't want it.
Wait, I did it?
Nope. Because you didn't want anything to do with FWA. Because you had so much fun there. So FWA, here we go. This was a poster that they gave everyone. It was probably, what, 13 by 19 maybe size. It's kind of nice. So I've got two of them here because, well, Jinx didn't get hers. We can send her home with hers.
Can I have one?
Yes, you may, because one of them's yours.
I can't invite anyone to my house anymore.
All right, and then they also gave everybody a sticker book, which was really cool. So uh, on the cover it says, "Welcome to the Underground." You can't really see anything because they spray painted it out, which was kind of the theme there is cyberpunk this year. And basically, it has come to our attention that there is a group of miscreants vandalizing our facilities. We have tasked all new employees with confiscating all stickers to help keep our campus pristine. For your convenience, space has been provided in this book to collect stickers that you found during our session. Welcome to Paradigm. So
Subway Surfers?
lots of little sticker books, and then it just gave you all different gaming room hours and stuff like that in the very back cover. But really very like nice little um, sticker book here. I don't know if she guys showed you guys her little sketch here of Licorice, and I was trying to come up with something for Blood Moon in a dog form. Yeah, marker just didn't quite work right, so I then transferred to colored pencil. This is my little sketch here. I might try doing something like that at some point, but we'll see. I also want to do something with ears that are turn into wings, some nice, huge, massive wing ears. But we'll see how that goes. Um, and then they were giving away little pins here. You can't quite see that. Let's see. All right. So they got a he, him. She got a her, she. Oh wait, a she, her. I've got an open or unopened pack of trading cards for Furry Week in Atlanta, and then throughout the different things. Oh yeah, I got this little guy, emotional support circle, pretty cute. Totally forgot about that. And then Social Fox. Actually, I'm wearing their T-shirt as well. Social Fox Brewing Company. They're out of Georgia. They had a booth set up there, and I went and talked to them for a little bit. But overall, FWA had these little trading cards that they were giving away, and you could just start collecting them throughout the con. I don't know what ended up being like a rare card, but hey, they had a few of them here, and I have no idea what's inside the packs. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I've never seen trading cards uh, from a con before either, so that was pretty cool. And it was all nicely packed inside this little plastic bag that I'll worry about later. All right. Well, um, hopefully you guys were able to hear something there because I didn't have the microphone on. I left it over in the corner here. Well, let's see. Yeah, so the original plan, this was for Licorice. I think she was talking to you all about it, but I got the red and blue fur for the tail. It's going to be like that, kind of striped like a raccoon's, obviously, but with red and blue. I was working on trying to figure out probably a 3D print for the eye, trying to get it into a star form, so I'll have to sketch that up on a 3D CAD system. Um, but yeah, overall it looks like a pretty doable project. However,
No. I'm
we're
going to get
changing it up. Yep, she's gonna choose colors that I don't have, which we
bright pink to my
already.
and my hair. And my hair. Look, look. Ugh.
Eh, eh. Yeah, she got bright pink. Her hair was really bright pink down on the more on the tips, but it was all the way from the roots to the tips, kind of in streaks there for a little bit, but over the past month, more or less, we went to the beach in California, and just the pool every couple days kind of bleached her hair out again. So let's see, back to the chat. Didn't FWA smash attendance records? Like, not just for FWA, but for all furry cons? I think I heard that. If so, Anthrocon will likely beat them again. Yep, so FWA officially, yes, they beat Anthrocon's last year's numbers just by, I think it was about 200 people. I'm not gonna lie, I highly doubt that's even close to the correct number. That's the number of people that actually registered and everything, but you don't have to really register and have I don't know, a con badge or wristband or anything for FWA to really actually have a great time there. There's so much space in just kind of the lobby areas that I can guarantee there were well over 20,000 people kind of just in and about and roaming through the con space. So that was it was pretty big. I'll say the line con for elevators, we we sneaked by pretty good. We had
Snuck.
a yeah, sneaked by, snuck by. Yeah, she's meh 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 meh. We were up on level 40, I believe, and there was an elevator set that took you to the very top floors. I think they were on 41. A lot less people were up on the higher floors, so we'd just hop up on the 41st level, which is where the it was either 41st or 42nd, but they had a uh, executive lounge up there, which I had access to, so I could swipe to get up there and then just walk down one set of stairs to our floor. So we ended up doing that quite a bit, and that was kind of our best bet. The lines for that elevator were actually fairly reasonable. I think most we had to wait maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but most of the time it was probably 3 to 5 minutes, so it wasn't too bad. Um, Trying to get into Dealer's Den and stuff like that, we had a new system that they had set up, which was like a reservation that you submit ahead of time, and then you go stand in line, which I think the reservation system was supposed to not have you stand in line, but then you'd stand in line for about 30 minutes trying to get into that, and then you get into the dealer space, and overall it worked out, but it was still pretty packed inside. But they were trying to throttle it as far as number of people in equals number of people out, so it took a little bit to get in and browse around. But overall, I think I would do FWA again. I don't know that Jinx would enjoy going back or not, but maybe if we kind of changed our focus on what we were going for and where we were going, and maybe not stay at the Marriott Marquis where that's like the main place that everybody's going. So maybe one of the surrounding hotels where you just don't have to be as involved in everything that's going on. So it might be worth trying, but I am interested to see kind of what Anthrocon turns into. I'm curious to try it out someday, but at the same time, I'm thinking my favorite con at this point was AFC. So that's the one coming up in September over in LA or Ontario, California. That should be September 20, around 19th through 23rd, something like that. So we're looking forward, or I'm looking forward to going to that with my daughter and her boyfriend and a few additional friends. So we'll see how that goes. Um, Let's see, that's September. We've got AWU coming at the end of this month. So Anthro Week in Utah. We're going up there with my daughter and a couple friends, and we're gonna go through that one. I would say AWU is probably my number one or number two. It's kind of a toss up between AWU and AFC as far as my favorite cons. But the two of them are really good. I think the like theming of AWU and just the storytelling that they have, that just really kind of set the tone for really having a great time. It was really good. Um, AFC, I think their facilities were probably the best that I've been to up to this point. It was a nice big open airy con. The downfall was the registration check-in. Hopefully they have that fixed a lot more for this year, because standing in the sun, I was out there at about 8:30, I think it was, for a 9 o'clock registration opening, and I stood in line till noon. It was like 12:03 when I got checked in. So 3.5 hours for being one of the first in line. And when I checked back about 4 p.m., they still had people lined up around the building, wrapping around the building. So people had been in line 4 to 5, maybe more hours, and it was hot. Even though it was in the 80s, you're standing in fursuit or anything. There was really no good sun protection. Um, so AFC, one of the best I've been to, but it also had some growing pains that they had to start off with. Rolling through that, it just that's kind of what I've got coming up next. Unfortunately, kind of the last couple of cons just haven't gone our way. Uh, but despite that, Jinx came out. She's had hopefully a decent time playing around Phoenix, and around California. I think it was her first time at the beach or anything, at least in California. Uh, West Coast, fireworks popping in the background. Let's see. Talked about Fontana Lake Dam, furry take over there in North Carolina. So that'll be just south of Asheville, more or less on the Georgia border. So I'm looking forward to that here in September. If we had, let's see, Arizona FurCon this year, I highly doubt that that's going to come together because see, I've already announced that it's pretty much done. But you never know what happens. But with that, that means PDFC is our next one. I'm thinking Jinx may be back for that, but if she's not, I'm gonna miss her there because that was her first con this past year, and it would be nice to have her back for that one. Uh, I think it's about the perfect size. That 2,000 to I'd say 4,000, 5,000, somewhere in there is kind of that sweet spot, depending on the venue that you're at. But PDFC here in January, and once we get there, then it's resetting the year once again. So, but all right. Yeah, overall, that's kind of where we're at. In the past few weeks, I went about and printed out another mask in the TPU. I've changed up how I was printing it. You can kind of see right through it. That TPU in this method makes it a whole lot lighter. TPU is pretty heavy as a whole. So being like a 50% or something like that fill ratio, uh, and I put no skin on it. So it basically just leaves a kind of a bubble kind of setup here. So makes it a little bit more brittle, but I think once you add the fur and everything, it works out pretty well. That's what we have Licorice printed on. And then I printed this one as well as kind of a potential for a blood moon in a dog form. So we're gonna see if it comes together at some point. And I'm looking at still working on a blood moon in a little bit more angry fashion. So kind of looking at that. This is the TPU once again, kind of squishy as a whole, but I'm thinking I gotta make Blood Moon a little bit, well, make him once again. That'll be like the fifth version of him, maybe sixth. But I need to do a redo of him. I still don't like his eyes and ears. Something's just not quite right. So unfortunately, Blood Moon 2.0 was my best version. He's somewhere. It might be the dump, it might be the side of the road, and it might be hidden in somebody's garage. I don't know where he's at. But since he fell out of my truck, he's out there missing. I'm hoping to see him over at PDFC or something like that one of these days, and they can keep him. Or actually, they've got Blood Moon 1 and 2, if anybody has them. Uh, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But hope you're good, Alan. I'm probably about done as well here. I might go out and see a few fireworks myself, but no, overall, that's kind of just an update of where we're at and what we've been doing. And I've got a few other projects going. My daughter put together some paws and she just finished a full suit for her boyfriend. So, all in all, it's been pretty good. But y'all have a good one. And